First set. Catherine McNally to serve. Ready, play. Love 15.
McNally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Not only her mom, a former pro and coach, but her brother plays college tennis.
Love 30. Love 40.
So early on, break points for Emma Jackson. This has been quite a run for her. She played a lot of USTA junior events, winning a few matches, but not going real far in those tournaments.
She looks young, doesn't she?
McNally, challenge and call.
And it's a challenge here.
Baseline.
McNally, I think,
The ball
rightly
is
thinks
in.
that this ball is out. So a little bit of pressure on McNally today. I mean, she's a seeded player. She's the older player. She's coming up against a, someone that is, as we see that. Oh, wow, I'm wrong. It was in.
Chase review
Game.
confirms the call.
First game.
Well, how about that? A break at love.
McNally
and
has
interesting,
two
Liz, you
challenges
mentioned
remaining.
the mentality for McNally is, expected to win.
Absolutely.
This match, she's been so accomplished in a lot of these Grand Slams in singles and doubles. How does that kind of weigh on the mind?
It's a bit of a different dynamic, really, isn't it? And it's just one of the things that you learn to deal with as a professional. So it's good that she's learning to come up against it in the juniors. The weight of expectation.
Doubles
Jackson
champion at the French Open this year, runner-up in singles to Coco Gauff. McNally, the quarterfinals and singles at Wimbledon.
Love.
Now, Jackson had to qualify. She won 2 matches, and in the second match, she beat the top seed in the girls' junior in that qualifying.
Gee, that gives you just a tremendous amount of courage and really confidence, doesn't it?
30 love.
I like the way she plays. She's looking to move forward. She's looking to be aggressive on that forehand side.
Love.
Well, it is very early in this match, but this is a very surprising outcome here early. 6 straight points for Jackson.
(40-15).
That's actually the first point that McNally has won.
Jackson got through the qualifying and then first round, 6-3, 6-3 straight set win.
Game. Jackson.
And Emma Jackson able to hold.
Jackson leads 2 games to
2 love here
first
in the
set.
first set against McNally.
15 love.
This is McNally's 4th straight year playing here at the U.S. Open in juniors. Reached the 2nd round last year.
$15
Yeah, she's vastly more experienced than her younger opponent, isn't she, Caty McNally?
$30-15.
McNally actually played in the main draw in doubles this year after winning the girls 18 national title, which is an automatic entry into the doubles. Dropped a 3-set match in the 1st round.
$30.
Just doesn't seem like she's really settled yet, McNally.
$40-30. Game, McNally.
Well, the winner there for McNally, so on the board in the match.
Jackson leads 2-1. First set.
Here in the 1st set.
Time.
Jackson up a break, serving.
Love 15.
Return there for McNally, starting to get her game going. So Liz, what do you think about the coaching? And as you mentioned, you know, the timing of it has to be right.
I don't like it. I don't like it on court at junior level, and I don't like it at the pro level either. Oh, well done.
15-all.
And I think, you know, on the women's tour, the week before the US Open at New Haven, a lot of the girls were actually getting no coaching. Their coaches not coming onto the court because they wanted to prepare themselves for what it was going to be like at the Open. You know, I think that's part of what makes tennis a challenge, is the problem solving and to be able to solve it by yourself. But I guess at junior level, it's very difficult to police. So they've said, okay, well, we're just going to make it legal.
Yeah, it was going on anyway.
Correct. And probably at the pro level as well, it was going on anyway. The other thing they do here, we're playing Let's today, which that's something new. I guess the USTA, or you know, they're trialing it to see if it works or if they like it. Gee, that's big hitting. Good use of the court, good angles.
30-all.
From Jackson, you know, pulling McNally short and wide and then hitting the next one up the line.
15 years old, from the state of Illinois, the American. the #1 player in the state.
(30-40).
Now the break point chance for McNally.
Deuce.
You know, it's got to be interesting, Liz, you know, to go through your mind also as a coach. When do you start talking to your player? When do you just leave your player alone and, as you say, let them figure it out on their own?
I'm hoping there
Advantage
would be
McNally.
some coaches who would say, you know what, I'm not going to help you. Don't expect to hear from me. You know, because even though they're allowed to, I'm hoping that not all of them do.
Jackson challenging the call. Left baseline. The ball was called in.
Yeah, she thought it was out immediately, Emma Jackson, so we'll get a look at it on the Chase review. Great that they have the electronic line calling for these junior matches.
She's got young eyes.
I was going to say, when you're 15, Liz, you see everything, don't you? Clearly. Incredible. You beat me to the punch. No, we're thinking alike. Not good for you.
Advantage Jackson.
Yeah, good defensive skills there from Jackson. She was pulled wide on that backhand side. She knew she couldn't hit two hands off it, so she just hit the backhand slider up the line. Got good depth, forced the error.
Game, Jackson. Jackson leads 3-1. First set.
Caty McNally, she was charging on that second serve. She was so far inside the baseline on her way to the service line, trying to be aggressive on it, just overhitting it.
All the U.S. Open information, merchandise, and more. Check it out online at usopen.org. I wasn't sure exactly how to bring this up.
15
but,
low.
You know, I'll just do it with McNally in her first round match. She wasn't feeling well. Down a set, she actually threw up on the court and then came back and won the match. Yeah, so hopefully she's feeling much better here. It happens once in a while.
Yeah, that's awful. Good recovery, clearly.
Yeah, she lost that first set,
15
6-3, and then came back to win the first round in 3 sets. A couple people out there told her, no big deal. Pete Sampras did back in '96. Don't worry about it.
You're in good company.
30-15. All. 40-30.
That's 3 forehand errors from Jackson in this game. 2 of them off the return. And that third one, just trying to still be aggressive with it. Not happy with herself. You can see her muttering. She's got high standards. It's a good thing. Yeah, continues to go after the forehand. The second serve was 83 miles an hour, just right for the hitting. First one went up the line, and then another good one to follow it up. That drew the short ball. So a well-constructed point there from Jackson.
Advantage, McNally.
McNally, the last 2 years, including this year, has played in the qualifying tournament here at the U.S. Open. Fell in the first round this year.
Deuce.
Like Jackson let it rip on that second serve.
But she almost came unstuck, didn't she? I mean, that forehand from McNally must have just missed. And of course, if it had landed, then that was the game. That was the point and the game. So you just need to be careful if you're going to hit a return that hard. It better be a really forcing shot that gets your opponent out of position, or else you're in trouble.
Out.
Oh, that's called from the chair. Are we going to see
Jackson.
a challenge? No.
Break point for Emma Jackson.
They're quite reluctant to overrule, aren't they? And rightly so, umpires. But, you know, that was right in front of the umpire, so he felt like he had a pretty good view of it. No challenge.
Deuce. Advantage, McNally. Deuce.
There's McNally's mom and coach on the left, Lynn.
Advantage, McNally.
She has trouble on that forehand side, Jackson. When McNally gets a good serve in out wide, you know, she just doesn't have the time to get the racket up and back and through. That's like the fourth or fifth forehand she's missed off the serve.
Game, McNally.
That time,
Jackson leads
she
3
goes
games
to the middle.
2. First
And
set.
McNally gets a hold, still down a break, the 5th seed here in the opening set. So Emma Jackson to serve, trying to pull an upset here in the second round of junior match.
It's a big game, that last one, wasn't it? Jackson, she had 3-1. She had a couple of points for 4-1, and such a big difference between 4-1 and 3-2. McNally, look, even though she's made 11 unforced errors, she's the one that was the playmaker. Not sure what happened with that serve.
There's one of those misses again. McNally will be busy today after this match. She's going to play doubles in the round of 16, along with Coco Gauff, who's the #1 seed in this junior girls.
That was the shot that did the damage for McNally, and this was the one that won the point, but it was the backhand that set the point up. Flight path is being used at LaGuardia.
It's a busy morning here in New York City.
15-40.
Yeah, just lost away on the serve in this game, Jackson. I think eventually the serve will be quite good. She has good racket head speed. When she gets bigger and stronger, that'll help her.
Game.
Too good.
McNally. 3
Big
games all.
forehand from McNally.
First set.
To start that point, it was a let. So, you know, in juniors, we play lets, and neither girl, they didn't even flinch, did they? They're just used to playing lets, as we see. Big forehand to win the point.
So Caty McNally back to level this first set after Jackson was out very strong to start it.
Love 15.
Oh, that's a tough shot, isn't it? You know, you come charging in, you're mindful of hitting the net before the ball goes dead, because then, of course, you'd lose the point. And McNally just couldn't. By the time she got there, the ball was dropping. She just couldn't quite. Yeah, it's an impossible shot to hit. She's well to stop.
15-0. (30-15). (40-15). 40-30. Game. McNally Ball change, please.
So Caty McNally able to consolidate the
leads
break,
4
and
games to
she's
3.
got her first lead
First
of the
set.
match.
Love 15.
Jackson now making the unforced errors, and the first couple of games it was McNally. Now McNally has reined that in, and Jackson is catching her in the unforced error. Well, now we've got a foot fault called on this first serve.
Love 30.
And she steps with that front foot, which is not ideal. Emma Jackson, you'll see when she comes up to the line, and that's why she was called on the foot fault. She stands very close and then she steps with that front foot. See that step?
Love 40.
And she's just getting quicker and quicker, isn't she? Jackson just showing a little bit of inexperience here. Just needs to take her full time, think about what she's going to be doing.
$15.40. $30.40.
McNally here taking her time wisely. Knows she has break point.
Game, McNally.
That's a well-played point from Caty McNally.
McNally
Waiting
leads
for an
5
opportunity
games
to play
3.
aggressively.
First set.
Just see Emma Jackson here. She's just looking over at her coach and doesn't quite know what's happened. She started well, and then she's just lost her way with the unforced errors.
You know, Caty McNally, so accomplished, has played in so many of these Grand Slam events, has had success. She's really taken over this opening set now, serving for it.
15 love. $30 love. $40 love.
Now set points for McNally.
Game. First set, McNally. 6 games.
Caty
to 3.
McNally comes on strong from love 2. And she gets the first set, 6-3. McNally, a big Roger Federer fan.
Who isn't?
That's a good point. You read the bios and hear things. And if you're not a huge Roger Federer fan, at least you've
Second
got a
set.
huge amount of respect
Jackson to
for
serve.
Roger Federer. Of course, the loss to John Millman the other night here at the Open.
Love
There
15.
would have been too many people that predicted that, but John Millman, he was great, wasn't he? When he has talked about the match since, he said, you know what, I know Roger wasn't at his best, but I'll take it.
Let me ask you, how much of him practicing where he's from in Brisbane, Australia, where the conditions were similar to this with the heat, and the fact that
Love 30.
he had trained with Roger, how much of those two things a combination in the factor of him winning that match, pulling the upset?
Yeah, well, not so. Well, I mean, maybe Brisbane does get very hot. There's no doubt about that, and quite humid. And John's used to playing in those sorts of conditions. That's true. Now he wouldn't have played in those conditions since, for 6 months or so, really.
Oh, McNally
Love 40.
too tough starting this second set the way she finished the first, and now some break points. Training with Roger, kind of maybe not being in so much awe when he got out there on the court.
I think John is the first person to admit that, Roger has been right up there in the in the awe factor.
15-40.
Very late, just a few hours ago, literally, here at the U.S. Open, Rafa Nadal winning a classic against Dominic Thiem in 5 sets.
That was an absolute thriller. Great tennis from both players.
And the competition of this tournament right through, we started with qualifying week and into these junior, the boys and girls side. Outstanding.
30-40.
Emma Jackson fighting her way back.
Yeah, she needs to try and cut down the unforced errors and still be aggressive. Sometimes that's a fine line to tread, because you can't be passive from the baseline, but you can't make the unforced error. So you've got to find that middle ground. Oh, great stab volley from Jackson.
Deuce.
Oh,
I mean, she has really shown some athletic ability here in this match.
Well, she was
15-year-old.
going one way and the racket was going the other, and she just happened to get, just the frame of it. It certainly wasn't struck in the middle, but she'll take it at the stage of the match. Good hustle
Jackson.
from Jackson. McNally had hit a really good return up the line. Pulled Jackson to the full stretch.
Pretty good recovery the way McNally ended that first set, and love 40 in this first game of the second. Recovery by Jackson.
Game, Jackson.
And she fights
First
back
game,
to get the
second
hold
set.
to begin the second set.
I think that would take a bit of getting used to, that let. We've seen McNally, we've talked about how she's, playing here in the main draw. And all of a sudden you come out and play these junior matches and, oh yeah, I've got to hit that ball.
Right. McNally with 3 ITF doubles titles this year, really accomplished in doubles. Look at those junior events, the Grand Slam. She's really gone far in many of the different slams. She's been to Wimbledon final last 3 years in girls doubles. A couple of singles titles this year.
I'm sure she's looking to transition onto the ITFs and the WTA Tour in the next 6 to 12 months. Incorporate those into her schedule, those opportunities to play.
At this age, Liz, you know,
Love 15.
how do you kind of factor in and figure it all out? You know, how much to play and where to play.
That's why it's really important to have good people around you. You know, either your parents or the coach or whoever it is at the USTA that is helping to guide these ladies. You know, I know Caty Rinaldi, a former tour player. She's
Love 30.
Fed Cup, well, she's America's Fed Cup captain. They actually play Australia in at home in February next year. But you know, she's got great experience, and I'm sure that you know, she was on the tour for many years. She was really one of these young phenoms that came onto the tour with Jaeger and Capriati and of course Tracy Austin,
15,
who won here
30.
a couple of times when she was 17 and when she was 19. So you know, those ladies know what's required to be successful on the tour, and they know what's required to go from 15, 16, 17 to a 20, 21-year-old pro.
Then you've got the,
30
I'm assuming the whole determination is Emma Jackson kind of stretches out there a little bit. The whole determination of, you know, and it's different for each player, for each individual, especially at a young age.
And the development, yes, physically and mentally, emotionally, the development is very important. Apart from the tennis, even more important, really. Both these ladies would have the age eligibility rule that would affect how much they play. Good
30,
point
40.
from Jackson. Yes, WTA were very mindful of the fact that they didn't want these young girls coming onto the tour at 14, 15, 16 and be retired by 20. So the age eligibility limits the amount of tournaments you can play until your 18th birthday.
Deuce.
Well, Jackson, right decision there, but just couldn't execute to get the break. And
keeping in mind, you know, Martina Hingis, she was the youngest #1 in the history of tennis at 16 years and 6 months. And what a phenomenal career she had. But very, very difficult to tread that line.
Hingis has
Advantage,
been here in New York.
McNally.
Not sure if she's still here, but she was, of course, she played doubles after retiring. You know, last year she won the mixed doubles with Jamie Murray, so she was at the Jamie Murray, Bethany Maddox-Sands. Maddox-Sands has taken her spot in the mixed doubles with Jamie. At the match, rooting them on the other night. '50th anniversary of the U.S. Open this year.
Game, McNally.
McNally fights off the break point, gets the hold. Now a 2-love lead here in this second set.
Yeah, it's got a great history, hasn't it? I mean, all the Grand Slams do.
One game all,
This
second
is the
set.
only Grand Slam that it's been on grass. It started on grass at Forest Hills, and then just for a couple of years there, it went to clay in Forest Hills. Not for many, maybe 2 or 3 years, and then, of course, we came here in, I think, '78.
Now the 5-year, $600 million renovation here. And wow, what a facility the USTA National Tennis Center is.
Yeah,
Love 15.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, watching Jackson play at that exact point. She played a really good point, like right up until the last shot, where you don't know what she was trying to do there, but you know, that's just a sign of youth and inexperience, and that's why, you know, you take so much from these events and these matches. You can sit down and analyse exactly what happened and when. What could you have done differently? What did you do well? You've got to remember that too. There's lots of things that she's done well so far. It's very important to have
Love 30.
a good perspective from these matches, to not come away too negative. These girls are both tremendous players. I look forward to watching both of their development.
(15-30).
Nice change up there.
(30-all). McNally challenging the call. Right center service line. Ball was called in.
Ace of the match, but it is being challenged, so we'll look at it on the chase review.
(30-all). McNally has 2 challenges remaining. McNally challenging the call. Right baseline. The ball was called in.
I think she's got a better chance on this one. This one does look out. Retreating back to the shade there, Caty McNally.
Chase review again.
40-30.
Wrong again.
McNally has 1 challenge remaining.
Certainly looked long.
Deuce.
She's not game to challenge. She's waiting for the call there, McNally, wasn't she? 2 challenges in a row that she got wrong.
Nicely put together point there from Jackson.
Advantage, Jackson.
Big difference in court positioning there, wasn't there? Jackson inside the baseline and McNally a long way behind it, forced behind it by Jackson.
Deuce.
Once again, you do a lot of hard work, and then, you know, that wasn't the place to go for the backhand winner up the line. She was pulled out of position. She just needed to make that ball and then maybe look for an opportunity later in the point. It's all about the problem-solving skills.
Advantage, Jackson.
Both players now doing quite a bit, Liz, of talking to their coaches. Here in the second set.
Game, Jackson.
And Emma Jackson gets through it.
2-1, second set.
Good hold, and 2-1 in the
McNally.
second set. Court 17 on a very warm day here in New York. Clock has hit noon. Steve Goldstein, Liz Smiley with you. Court 17 seeing this girls junior second round match, and the 5th seeing Caty McNally against Emma Jackson. Trying to pull off the upset after McNally won the last 5 games of the opening set. We're on serve in the second.
15 love.
It's a well-played point here from McNally. She was just patient until she got the ball that she felt that she could do a little bit more with. Good height over the net. Good racket head speed.
$30 love. Jackson challenging the call. Right far sideline. The ball was called in.
So Emma Jackson thought maybe that missed. We'll get a chase review. Call upheld.
40 love. $40-15. Jackson has 2 challenges remaining. Game, McNally. 2 games all.
McNally
Second set.
holds. Even up this second set. USOpen.org is your online home to watch or listen to matches in real time. Follow match scores with near live highlights. Dig deeper into the key stats and more. Visit the official tournament site at USOpen.org.
$15 love. $30 love. $40 love.
That's a good body serve from Jackson. Once again, I would expect this serve to get a lot better in the next couple of years. She got good racket head work. She gets good pace on it. That one was the jammer into the body.
Game, Jackson. Jackson leads 3 games
Jackson,
to 2.
impressive
Second
on
set.
serve.
First set, McNally.
3-2 in the second.
This match continues to be very entertaining. Emma Jackson here just having a couple of words with the coach. Of course, you can do that in the junior event here. Fighting hard early in this second set after she played really well the first couple of games of the match and then lost away for a little bit. Made quite a few unforced errors, but now the pressure back on McNally.
$15 love.
Yeah, there it is again, that forehand. She created the space well. The shot before that went cross court, and when she had the one to hit up the line, just made the error. Her 19th unforced error for the match has hit half the amount
30 love.
of winners. Of course, you like to have that round the other way, don't you? You like more winners than unforced errors, but you don't always get it right.
$40 love.
It's the first serve volley we've seen from McNally. Well, she did play in the doubles here, in the regular event, didn't she?
Yeah, she qualified when they won the 18s.
Yep, and she lost first round, but nice to see a serve volley, I have to say.
McNally.
Yeah.
3 games
Well,
all.
McNally makes quick
set.
work there.
And it's nice to see a little bit of variety too. Both these girls have shown us that they can slice onto backhand, and that will only develop as they learn to play it better, and you know, they get on grass courts, and McNally has already had quite a bit of success on the lawns of the All England Club, in singles and in doubles. And it's a prerequisite really when you're playing on fast indoor courts or you're playing on grass. It's so advantageous to be able to have a slice.
15 love.
So you mentioned, you know, the winning, not necessarily the most important thing
Definitely
at this
not.
level. So how much did they kind of weigh on, hey, you know, you got to try things, and you have to have the variety in your game and work on it during matches?
And the key is, though, you're not always going to get it right. So you want to revert back to what you do well and probably do a little bit better. But of course, in 5, 6, however many years' time, you'll be glad that you worked on the slice, and you'll be glad that you were capable of serving and volleying, and you'll be glad you had the variety. You've just got to have a little bit of patience to know that you're not going to get it right all the time. But in the long run, it's much better for your game to have the variety. Oh, that's well done from McNally. Not easy to play that shot, you know, above shoulder height. Jackson just trying to slow down the pace of the ball here on the full stretch. And this shot here from McNally, well played.
$40-15.
So you talk about the patience for some of these young players and trying to get that variety in their game. How tough is it for them to actually do that and say, I know it's going to help me years from now, while they're trying to win matches now?
Well,
and do
we
what they
saw
do
at
well?
McNally, I mean, she hit a slice backhand in that last point. She didn't win the point, did she? But she was still trying to do something a little bit different. So you've got to give her points for that. You've got to give her marks.
40-30.
I mean, no one ever gets it right, not even the pros. So you can't expect the juniors to get it right just when you know, they're trying to incorporate it. Because the reality is, once you get onto the tour itself, you don't really have time to work on incorporating those things in your game. I mean, they've got to be there already.
Game. Jackson.
That's long, and Jackson
Ball
holds.
change, please. Jackson leads
4-3
4-3
here in the second set.
First set, McNally.
So Caty McNally, the 5th seed, in a battle here in the second set. We're on serve. Again, wins a first serve point, does McNally.
Doing a great job on that number in the second set, McNally. She's won 10 of 11 points on the first serve.
Love.
Jackson kind of struggling there after that point a little bit.
But look how much court she had to cover.
Very warm day. We're in the mid to high 80s here in New York.
Love.
Bit of a struggle after that point as well for the 15-year-old.
.40-15. .40-30.
Add this one to the winner's column for Jackson off the forehand side.
McNally challenging the call. Right far sideline.
This is wide, I think, but
the ball was called out.
Probably more disappointed than anything else. Felt like she had the space up the line.
Chase review. And as you thought, confirmed. That's wide.
Deuce.
That's a big miss.
McNally has 0 challenges.
You're serving second in a set, so there's just always that little bit more pressure, and that was a game point.
Advantage.
That is
McNally.
Such a let-off for McNally. You know, that second serve, 82 miles an hour. Jackson's got to be able to make that ball. Struggling to stay in a match. That's a big point.
Game. McNally.
Down the tee, the ace. McNally.
All. Second set.
Gets through it. And we're level here in the second set.
It's important that these girls, you know, when these matches said and done and you go off and you analyse, and there are just certain points in a match that are more important than others, and that was one of them for Jackson. A second serve to not make that return. She's down a set, but you know, she's up, or she was up in this second set, and that's such a let-off for McNally.
Really would have put a lot of pressure. Break point.
And it's easy to forget, too.
Love
15.
15.
It's easy to forget, exactly what happened on that point. Unless it's either pointed out to you or you could, you have a good memory. But to be able to document what happens, to have a diary, I'm sure both these girls have one, that points out exactly what happened. So, of course, you can go back and read and learn and try and not let it happen again, which is the whole part of the process.
$15 all. 15-30.
Jackson again struggling a bit between points physically. Go grab a little shade for a moment. She continues to battle Emma Jackson against the more experienced Caty McNally.
Going for the slice backhand again. McNally, the one she hit, the shot she hit previous to that was not a bad slice. Really didn't have much on it, but just, I think maybe caught between shots there. You know, the decision wasn't perfectly clear in her mind. You can just see her shaking her head in disgust. Game point. Oh, nicely played.
Deuce.
Jackson had to do some running there, getting to a couple of balls.
Good job for Caty McNally to come into the net. She didn't get the first one away, did she? And this is a different type of volley, much more difficult. Firm wrist, below the height of the net. You have to open the racket face. Nice touch. Too good.
Advantage Jackson.
The 10th backhand winner for the match. It's been more effective than the forehand side. Jackson. Oh, good tennis.
Deuce.
Good tennis from both ladies. There was some slice in there. Jackson, that ball there, it's going away from McNally, so she does a good job to cover it, to get out to her right. Manage the spin well.
Advantage
Jackson
McNally.
unable to convert there. Now a break point. McNally a point from serving for the match.
This is one of those really important points, important moments in a match.
Deuce.
Gee, she'd like that one back again, wouldn't she, McNally? Really not trying to do anything special with it. Wasn't trying to go for a winner. Just trying to get it back deep. Well, it was the
Advantage.
forehand that won the point, but it was the slice
McNally.
backhand that did the damage for McNally because it was hit well. It got good angle, which enabled her to play this shot here. And then that's just easy pickings inside the service line. Another break point here.
Game.
And McNally puts it away.
McNally
And
leads
she gets
5
the break
games to
against
4.
Jackson.
Second set.
McNally
and
will
1 set to
serve
love.
for the match. Against the upstart Emma Jackson, who got into this through qualifying. 2 matches needed to be won and won her first round match.
15 love.
And, you know, Jackson, you know, Liz, she's fought as much as she could.
And, you know, she's a kid. Well, they're both kids. You know, they don't always get it right. But you've got to come away with a feeling of excitement and positivity.
30
McNally, a
love.
lot more experience on the Grand Slam stage, and now has taken over a couple of points from the match. And Jackson, as we've seen quite a bit in this second set after points, struggling a bit.
Love.
So McNally with match points. On a warm day here in New York at the U.S. Open.
Game, set, match, McNally. 2
Caty
sets to love.
McNally gets it done. 6-4 in the second set.
6-3, 6-4.
Catherine McNally is on to the next rounds here in the girls' junior draw at the U.S. Open.
It's always entertaining to watch these young juniors play. You know, they want to be on the pro tour, and before you know it, they will be if they're good enough. And Caty McNally, she's had a good match here. She didn't start very well, but I guess it's not the way you start, as Rafael Nadal will tell you. It's the way you finish. And McNally did a good job of cutting down the unforced errors, looking to still be aggressive. As we see Emma Jackson lead the court, she can be proud of her efforts here. She won through qualifying, she won the first round, and you know, she'll be back.
Great effort in the warm conditions by Emma Jackson. McNally, who was the runner-up in singles in the French Open, quarterfinals at Wimbledon, now through to the 3rd round in this girls' junior draw here at the U.S. Open.
Catherine, in that second set, it was 4-4, both of you on serve, and then you grabbed that break point. What shifted for you to make that happen and ultimately pull through and win?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I was playing my best tennis today, but at 4-all, I kind of just told myself, like, make the ball, because I was just giving her easy, unforced errors, and I wanted to make her work for everything. So that game, I kind of just put my head down and went to work.
It's been a storyline all tournament, the heat. How does that affect your play on the court and your preparation when you're facing just daunting temperatures like this?
Yeah, I played 2 days ago, and I think that was the hottest day the whole week. I actually puked 5 times on the court. Yeah, so it's definitely tough, but it's really important to make sure that we're really hydrated the night before, the morning of, and so we're ready to go out on the court and compete.
In between points, what were your coaches and your supporters telling you in terms of cheering you on and making sure you were on the right path?
I think they were just trying to tell me to continue to play my game, because that's when I play my best tennis.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Catherine McNally.
And McNally's mom coaching her. She was named 2014 Team USA Developmental Coach of the Year. So She's got some experience as mom and coach, and
McNally, we could interview that really, you know, because she said it's all about the preparation, and she sounds almost like a pro already. You know, they're so well educated in what they're supposed to do, you know, before matches, during matches, after, to prepare for the next day. And, you know, she realised that she was making too many unforced errors. She cut down the unforced errors and she continued to play her game. That doesn't count if the cameraman
he's going to have to give that to somebody, no?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
He's not a spectator.
Although a signed ball from McNally, that's a good item to hold on to maybe
Wow.
for a few more years, Liz.
Put it on eBay and however many more years, get some money for it.
See, I was thinking you put it on a nice desk and you have it.
No.
Move it along, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, recycle it.
Okay, yeah.
But
So to speak.
She was quite good in analysing exactly what happened. And it's no surprise that she knew exactly what happened, because that's the way she plays. She has a big game, she's got a big serve. She's going to make some unforced errors, but she will learn as she goes along and matures.
4th straight year she's played juniors here at the U.S. Open. This is the furthest she's gone. She's now in the 3rd round. And a look at the final numbers.
Well, you go down to the unforced errors, almost the same, but the winners category, she hit twice the amount of winners as her opponent, Caty McNally. And that was the match.
It is always a pleasure sitting and watching tennis with you.
It's enjoying. I like watching these junior matches. There's a lot to learn, and they've got a lot to learn, and you'd like to see their path come into the pros, and I look forward to watching Caty McNally's progress.
All right, she's on to the 3rd round. For Liz Smiley, I'm Steve Goldstein. So long for now, everybody.